Wow, Farmer 40's returned, and we're off to do a bit of drilling. First things first, let's have a look. Oh, someone's left it empty. Anyway, I've not done a video in a while, so I thought I'd have a go at doing this live one um, on the new. Well, on the new. It's been out for quite a while now. Farming simulator game. I've had it for a couple of weeks. Didn't rush to get it. I originally thought that it's so much just a resale of the old game with not a great deal different. But I've been playing it a couple of weeks, and actually, yeah, it is quite a lot different, and especially I've got the Seasons mod, which is a wonderful. It's amazing. It's made the game so much more lifelike. I mean, having to plough the fields and sow them at the right time of year, and then not having any options to turn off wither, so you have to harvest again at the right time of year. Yeah, and especially with the repair module. Anyway, I'm filming this little video. Ballymoon Castle. I've had it going a couple of days. Downloaded it and the Seasons mod and looked through it and all the bits and pieces. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Just now I was kind of messing around. I am using GPS, but I've got the HUD completely turned off because I mean, just look at the graphics. It's amazing. Right, so we're coming up to where we've stopped. Got GPS turned on. Start her up. Drop her down. And hit cruise control. Now, I've decided to make this Ballymoon Castle map purely arable. No animals whatsoever to start with. I mean, a lot of arable farms get someone to put sheep on their land in the winter, and I might do that in the winter just to get a few more jobs to do. I don't know why, but I've got the season length set to default. It's set to 9 days, and this is day 4, and it could be a bit much because I have basically acquired probably 7 or 8 fields, and this is number 7, so I've actually got a lot of fields drilled with this tiny little drill. Most of it I've just done myself. I've used a hired worker for a couple of bits and pieces. Right, just got to concentrate going around this pole. Turn off the GPS. I've never hit a pole in real life. I've hit a stay wire. Many years ago, used to work on a dairy farm, and I clipped a stay wire once with a hedge trimmer. Didn't end very well. I mean, I didn't damage the electricity pole. I damaged the hedge trimmer. I ripped one of the hydraulic hoses off it. There was oil absolutely everywhere, completely covered. It's basically a brand new hedge trimmer, a 4.5 metre Twos. I can't remember, 4.5 metre reach. I can't remember what sort of width cut it was. Probably only sort of a metre and a quarter, something like that. But yeah, oil absolutely everywhere. The boss was on holiday. I had to oh, excuse me. I had to get the thing fixed so I could carry on. Yeah, that was quite a few years ago. My life has changed quite a bit since then. Apart from the fact that I used to be a big gamer then, and I still am quite a big gamer now. I kind of enjoy immersing myself in things, which is really good as to why you can turn the HUD off. And I mean, GPS, yeah, there's GPS in real life, so GPS in the game is not cheating. There are some really crazy mods out there that are good to fiddle and play with. Watching Bill's Max's video yesterday with his combine baler. Yeah, that's a bit crazy. Being able to, in this game, swath up crops into mega piles, like you mow the grass 2 or 3 times, and then have a swath that basically produces a line of bales. I mean, that's a bit mad. Many years ago, when I worked on a dairy farm, I did that with some hay one year. I was fairly new, and my boss said, row up the hay, you can bale it later. And I rode up the field and looked at the swaths and thought, oh, they're a bit skinny. I'll open up the rower and row up again, go over the lines, pull them 2 into 1. When he turned up with the baler, he took one look and basically said, you're baling that, I'm not. He said, that's going to be so awkward to bale, and it was. I had it was oh, hang on, missed a bit. I had a fairly big, for me, fairly big at the time. I mean, you know, I had a 100 horsepower Massey Ferguson tractor with a excuse me, with a little baler, with a little normal conventional baler on it, and I had it in the lowest gear, and I was riding the clutch, which isn't good for the tractor, and that was hard work, and I never did it again. You know, I listened and I learned. I've been thinking back over my farming days recently quite a lot, and yeah, they were good times. I mean, the 1990s machinery was kind of becoming more advanced than it had been. Not as much as it is today. I watch some of these videos of people like Dino and George Saunders and the like, and the equipment they use is space age compared to what we used back then. I've got to admit, you know, my favourite thing to do every year, I mean, it was a dairy farm, so I never got to do any arable work. A bit of ploughing for a next door neighbour, and baling baling the straw every year that we bought off of neighbouring farms. But yeah, my favourite thing to do every year was the silage work. I mean, one year the grass grew so much in late summer, early autumn. We did a 3rd cut silage in October, and the contractor we normally use couldn't supply enough manpower to do everything like they normally would. So we used their equipment. I borrowed their mower, and I mowed best part 70 acres of grass in a day. You know, and I thought, and it was a long day. I think I can remember eating my dinner at about 11:30 at night, and then waking up at 5 o'clock the next morning, because being October, the cows had come in, and so you had all that. You know, you had to look after all the animals first thing in the morning, and then go on and get on with stuff. And I'll have to back up a little bit here. You know, so I went in. I went in the next morning for 5 o'clock. You know, I ate my dinner, went to bed at midnight, got up at 4:30, went to work for 5, did 3 hours of cleaning out stalls and yard work, filling the feeder, laying down feed for the animals for the morning, filling the feeder for the afternoon, and then off I went again. Took the mower back to the contractor, picked up a big, I can't remember what make it was now, but it was probably like a Kverneland or something, rower. Went round all the fields and rode them up that day, and then the following day the contractor came in with 1 trailer, a tractor and the forage harvester, and I ran another trailer, and my boss did the silage clamp. And you know, those 3 or 4 days, especially when you're looking at the winter, when you're looking at the same old jobs every day, day in, day out, cleaning out the cattle, feeding the cattle. You know, the stress of when the only forage wagon you've got breaks and you've got 200 cows to feed twice a day, around about, I think it's around about 9 to 11 tons of mixed feed. You know, you've got to fix the thing. You've got to fix the thing, or you've got to get the loader and a bucket and a shovel and a fork, and you know, do that by hand. And you know, that's you know, it's a monotonous winter with stressful periods, stressful times, and to be off doing something you'd normally do in the summer, I loved it. I mean, I was quite young. I was I started working there when I was 19. You know, and in the end, it was the winters that put me off of farming, especially when you had a motorbike to get there on and to get home, so you got wet and soggy before you even started work, and you spent all day wet and soggy, and then you got re-wet and soggy on the way home. But you know, the summers were good. The first couple of winters were good, but it kind of put me off. Wanted me to do something that was a bit less. I don't know, what should I say? Not less monotonous, because the next job I had, working in an engineering workshop, proved to me that manufacturing items for a company to sell is the definition of monotony. It's every day of every week making the same things over and over and over. And yeah, and what didn't help was that the factory was situated on a farm. So I was, in the end, I kind of regretted that part of my life, because I was working in a workshop that looked at a farm, and it was an arable farm as well, not a dairy farm. Looked at that farm going about his business day in, day out. And I spent 10 years there. God knows how I managed that. 10 years there, kind of wishing I hadn't left farming. I kind of do now. But then, you know, playing a game, it's not the same. It's not the same as doing it in real life. It's like you go on holiday every year and you see someone else's country, someone else's life, and you think, oh, well, yeah, I'd love to live there. But it's not the same. Doing it for 2 weeks, playing it in a game, it's definitely not the same as doing it in real life. Even this kind of thing is hard. It's tiring. But you know, I don't know. I've got a lot to think about in the near future. I might have a look at getting back into farming somewhere, part-time maybe. But I don't know. Like I say, playing it, watching it is completely different from doing it. Anyway, I'm going to get on with drilling this field of soybeans. I think it's the 4th day of the spring in this season's mod. I fertilised the fields first and planted them. I'm really looking forward actually to the 2nd and 3rd applications of fertiliser and tram lines with the crop destruction. Just, I know in real life the drill would be laying down the tram lines at set intervals, switching off rows and switching, you know, back on again. But I'm really looking forward to spraying the fields and laying down tram lines for once, because I've had crop destruction before, but I've been watching Daggerwind's videos and the tram lines. I mean, it's just, you look at a field like this, and it looks like a field. You know, you really could forget that this is a game. And oh yeah, I think the person that's developed the Seasons mod, he should be working for he should be working for Giants. He really should. You know, and if they don't, if FS19 comes out and it doesn't have seasons in the game itself to start with, if they haven't bought it off the person, if that's how it works, I don't know, then they'll be making a massive mistake. A massive mistake. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. If anyone's watched it, thank you very much. If you like, I'm going to do a few more. You can subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to say I'm going to do lots of videos. I'm going to do a few here and there when I get bored. Anyway, so if you've liked the video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.